Holmes. Holmes, will you stop that? You are utterly mad. Stop, Holmes!
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate. Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The merry men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone, then.
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
Inspector Lestrade, when will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock. I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and... oh dear.
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream, but I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually, whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. He lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes, life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh, my goodness, but how do you know about that?
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
Thank you, madam. It seems that the garden was well maintained. The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see. The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
Thank you, madam. These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool. This place is not covered with dust, like the rest of the shelf. An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book. A box or a small chest, perhaps. The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8. Old navigation instruments, nothing interesting. Peter Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon. Peter Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that he knew his murderer. This man is in his 50s, yet he still looks quite strong. This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. This wooden handle is plain and solid. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did not succeed. J.H.N. are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook. The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey. These abbreviations mean something, but what?
Well, Mr. Holmes, what do you think?
I think that we are lucky,
And why is that?
because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oof, you've lost me.
It is very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha! So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen, ready your pistols. We have a long night ahead of us. Your husband's private papers, do you know where they are?
There was a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
Thank you, madam. This aroma is familiar, but to recognize it, I must construct my associations in one picture. Yes, this is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors.
We need to find a good place for an ambush. Perhaps behind Carey's cabin, near the window.
This looks like the perfect hiding place.
Shh! Did you hear that? There's someone there. I'm gonna collar him.
I'll be right behind you.
Police! Hold it right there. All right, my fine fellow. Who are you and what are you doing here?
You're detectives, I suppose. You imagine that I'm connected with the death of Captain Carey. I assure you I'm innocent.
Innocent? Then what are you doing in his cabin?
Shall I tell you? You came to retrieve what you had lost after killing Peter Carey, but we were here waiting for you.
What is your name?
John Hopley Nelligan, but I didn't...
Do you deny that you came here yesterday?
No, but I... Yes, it's just that I couldn't...
I'm tired of this. Off we go to the yard. Tomorrow, I'll see that you're put in front of the judge.
What? But you can't! I'm not... It's a terrible mistake!
Enough. You can explain all of that to the judge. You're coming with me to the yard.
But...
In light of recent events, it seems evident that your coming here was unnecessary. All the same, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Holmes.
You are welcome, Inspector, but please don't be too hard on our young fellow. I would like to question him tomorrow morning. Does this notebook belong to you?
Yes. But where did you find it? I did not know... I thought I'd lost it at the hotel.
What do these abbreviations mean?
Oh, no. I beg you, I can't. If I told you, it would only make things worse.
But I will find out eventually, Mr. Nelligan. The sea knife was found near Carey's body. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, did Mr. Carey try to defend himself or to attack you with it?
I don't know. I didn't kill anyone.
Well, I will see you soon, young man. I need to stage a reconstruction. I'm sure that Watson would be happy to oblige. A spot of whaling, Watson. Would you care to take part?
Are you serious?
No, but we do need to clarify what happened on the night of Black Peter's murder.
A reenactment, then? Is something bothering you?
The sailor's knife, Watson. Why was it on the floor?
Peter Carey attempted to defend himself?
It is possible, but if that is the case, then it alters many things.
I don't quite follow you.
Tell me, my friend, what is the animal closest to man, morphologically, I mean?
Ah, I see what you're getting at, Holmes. You asked me that once before. On the Ripper case, I believe. Do you want to slit some more pigs' throats?
No.
Thank goodness for that.
I wish to impale one with a harpoon.
Wonderful.
Watson, let us pay a visit to our butcher friend in Whitechapel. We require the carcass of a well-fed pig.
And the harpoon?
One of the harpoons on the wall of Black Peter's cabin should do quite nicely. That should do it. Now I am ready for the experiment.
Well, here we are in the preparation room. I can't say that I like the smell of it much. What do you intend to do?
To indulge myself in a little experiment. The challenge of lancing a pig's carcass with a heavy harpoon.
A little experiment?
Stand aside, Watson. This might be dangerous. I am not well practiced in this exercise, yet.
Holmes, you should aim for the mark in order to perform the most reliable test.
This is the best possible result that I could get. Do you see, Watson? Throwing a harpoon and pinning a man to a wall requires either exceptional strength and training or diabolical luck.
If it was luck, then it was a chance in 1,000 that night.
Well, yes. Let us leave now.
All right. But before we go, I suppose I'll have to pay for all these carcasses you've happily mangled.
Very well, but please hurry.
Of course.
These are the suspect's belongings. The notebook that we found on Peter Carey's cabin floor. A pocket knife. It was used to force the door of Peter Carey's cabin. A handkerchief with the initials JHN. And partner, 1883. From R. Dawson. To my friend, Dawson. I've seen this name before. Perhaps my archive holds the answer. The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
The ring's date of engraving is many years ago. You would have been a child then. hardly in any position to receive such an item from a partner. So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
No, Mr. Nelligan. I believe that the ring had belonged to your father.
Oh, but how do you know?
The jacket you are wearing is made of an expensive fabric that only a man of exceptional wealth could afford. You do not seem to me to be a rich man, Mr. Nelligan. Furthermore, the garment is ill-fitting. It is quite clear that it belonged to someone else, most probably your father. With your father gone and taking with him the family's wealth, as a little boy you had to find yourself a manual job, and it was most probably cleaning fish. You cut your hands often while working. I can tell from the scars.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly as you say.
Well, I will see you soon, young man. Now I begin to understand that young man's story, but I am still unclear as to what connects him with the murder. It is time to ask him. I have heard the story of Dawson and Nelligan, the West Country bankers.
Yes, Joshua Nelligan was my father.
I am aware that it had a bad ending. When the bank failed, it ruined half the families of Cornwall, whereupon Joshua Nelligan disappeared.
My father was under extraordinary pressure. Dawson had retired. I was only 10 years of age at the time, but it was still old enough to feel the shame that befell our family. My father was convinced that he could pay off all his debts if the creditors gave him time. He set sail for Hammerfest in Norway in his small yacht just a few days before an arrest warrant was issued. He left my mother a list of the securities he was taking. No word was ever heard from him again. We believed that his vessel went down, taking with it everyone and everything on board.
Thank you for the story, Mr. Nelligan. At last, we are making some progress. Interesting. Joshua Nelligan and Peter Carey were both at sea in Norway. There is definitely some connection between Peter Carey and Joshua Nelligan's disappearance. 1883. That's the one I need. This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn. Log notes for July. Nothing special. Log notes for August. These pages have been torn away. Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR, a torn piece from a bond certificate. I have seen this abbreviation somewhere very recently. There are 3 ways of discovering what happened in August of 1883 aboard the Sea Unicorn. The first 2 of these will require speaking with a dead man. The last would be to locate vital witnesses, the sailors involved in this whale hunt campaign. Something new, Watson. I have the list of sailors who were aboard the Sea Unicorn. We shall soon learn what happened to Nelligan's father. I have only to find them. Let us hope they are still working at the harbour.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard...
I doubt it, Watson. And really, I would prefer that all of this remains quiet for now. But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
And who might they be?
The secret police division of Baker Street.
Ah, you mean young Wiggins and his gang?
Yes. Believe me, you'll receive more useful assistance from these little urchins than from a dozen yard detectives. Those children are everywhere. They see and hear everything, and they are cunning. All they lack is organization. I'll summon them.
How will you do that?
There is always a watch beneath our window. I have only to call him.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins, I need you to track down certain people for me. I'll give you a list. You can read, can't you?
Big Oliver from our gang. He can, because his father is the coachman of a famous lawyer.
Fascinating. Here is the list of sailors.
Sailors? Easy. Just got to look where the rum and the red lights are.
Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Holmes, but the inspector asks that you come to the station as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'll be there shortly.
Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to see you.
As always, what happened?
We have a new suspect, Liam Hurtley. I'm thinking that this case will be resolved very quickly now.
Interesting. Pray tell.
Well, the constable that I left at Woodman's Lee noticed a suspicious individual prowling around during the night.
Do you have him here?
Yes. He refuses to speak with us, but we'll make him talk.
Let us hope so.
Ah, yes, and one more thing. The constable told me that at the time of his arrest, the fellow was writing a letter.
Do you have it?
Of course. It's in the evidence room, at your disposal. Admit that for once, Mr. Holmes, Scotland Yard is a step ahead of you, eh?
Breathtaking. These are the suspect's belongings. Liam Hurtley's old boots. They're a size 9.5. The stains are fresh. They can be removed with the proper chemicals. A pen. Nothing unusual about it. Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I would like to ask you a few questions.
I've already told the police that I've nothing to say. And you're not even part of the police.
Precisely, and considering your situation, it might be wise to speak with someone who is, shall we say, rather more neutral. You are a suspect in a murder case.
I know. Inspector Lestrade told me. It's ridiculous.
Could you at least tell me who you are, and exactly what happened that you should be brought here?
My name is Liam Hurtley. That I can tell you. But you're not getting any more than that.
Well, we shall see. Now we have the proof that Nelligan's papers were indeed here. It seems that they have vanished, however. Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, what exactly were you hoping to find inside Peter Carey's cabin?
I was trying to find some information about my father.
I assume you had another purpose, to retrieve the bond certificates. Am I correct?
Yes. I discovered some time ago that a few of the missing securities had reappeared on the London market. You can imagine my amazement. I spent months trying to find them, and at last I discovered that the original seller had been Captain Peter Carey. These papers, they belong to my family, but I could not find them there.
That's all for now. Well, I will see you soon, young man. Does the name Liam Hurtley mean anything to you?
No, I don't know anyone by that name.
Thank you, madam. I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing fresh ink. For this purpose, the chemicals from the flasks should be combined in a certain order to perform a chain reaction. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent. Now I can proceed further. Let us see if the content of this letter sheds a little light upon the mystery. I did as you asked and hid them well. Interesting. How would Hurtley react to this? Please escort this suspect for interrogation. So tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what did you hide?
Hide? What are you talking about?
I did as you asked and hid them well. Should I continue?
My letter? But the ink? That's impossible.
A touch of chemistry, nothing special.
Well, you're a smart one. But it's nothing. If you want to know, I was referring to my tools. It was to do with my work, see?
I will check that, Mr. Hurtley. That's all for now. Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
Does the name Liam Hurtley mean anything to you?
No, I don't know anyone by that name.
Thank you, madam. The case is solved. I am now ready to present the guilty party.
So tell me, who killed Black Peter?
It was John Nelligan, Inspector.
I thought as much. but I fail to see his motive.
Revenge, Inspector. Black Peter possessed the bond certificates that had belonged to Nelligan's father, and young Nelligan wished to retrieve them.
Well then, I'll arrest this Nelligan. I don't fancy his chances of getting out of prison after this.
I will accompany you, Inspector. John Nelligan, it was you who killed Black Peter. You attempted to convince him to return the bond certificates, and you threatened to call the police. Peter Carey was drunk. He drew his knife. In panic, you took the harpoon and made your lucky throw in self-defense. Put that in your report, Lestrade.
No, I didn't kill anyone. You have it all wrong.
You better thank Mr. Holmes for saving your neck, Nelligan.
The case is resolved, Inspector. I shall return to Baker Street.
Very well, Mr. Holmes. Goodbye for now.
This trip to the countryside will be good for you, Holmes. As your friend and your doctor, I really do recommend that you give yourself a complete change of scene. Fresh air, brisk walks, bird watching, chopping wood.
Sounds intolerable. Certainly it sounds delightful.
But you haven't yet told me who your friend is, the one we're going to visit.
He is a bee lover.
A bee lover? Do you mean that he keeps bees? That must be Mrs. Hudson, bringing the warm cloth that I requested.
There is someone to see you, Mr. Holmes.
I have no time. Send whoever it is away.
Yes, Holmes, I really think we ought to leave now.
Mycroft.
Sherlock.
Oh, Mr. Holmes? Perhaps you don't remember me. I'm Dr. Watson. We met at the Diogenes Club a few years ago. I documented our encounter in a short story I gave the title The Greek Interpreter.
He does remember you, Watson. My brother remembers everything, and that is why he is so valuable to the government.
We're about to depart for the train station.
I know.
You know?
Sherlock, I need your help. There are people who presently threaten both our country and the Crown itself. You must help us with those methods of yours.
Need? Help? Those are not words I would readily associate with you, Mycroft.
I wrote you a letter, but you did not reply. And this is not about politics. It's about people. People similar to those whom you pretend to defend in your petty detective affairs.
Everything is about politics with you, Mycroft. I'm not interested. Have some of your agents, your spies, or worse, undertake this job of yours. You are defending your people, and they have little to do with the people I choose to help, I can assure you.
That is the point. You think exactly as they do.
Who are they?
The Merry Men. He is talking about the Merry Men, a band of idealistic terrorists.
Sherlock, do please think about it. They are planning something diabolical. Your country needs you.
You need me, Mycroft, and you are not the country, although if your waistline expands very much further.
Mrs. Hudson, tea will not be necessary. Dr. Watson, the train conductor, Mr. Parker, is aware that you will be 7 minutes late. You are in the 4th car. The train will be waiting for you. Sherlock, enjoy your time in Staffordshire. And do, please, at least write to me on your return.
We leave in 5 minutes for the station.
What a gloomy night. It was warmer inside the waiting hall.
Since the station master told us that the train is about to arrive, we should not have to wait very much longer.
Yes, at last.
Attention! The train is arriving at the station. Please stand well away from the platform edge.
I'll take your bags and your blasted archive suitcase. But, Holmes, the headlight. It's faded away.
Something is wrong. I can't hear any sound from the incoming train.
Excuse me, sir. Can you explain what has happened?
I don't know. It's as if the train vanished into thin air.
Holmes, say something.
Quick, fetch a lantern and let us take a look.
It's too dark. Only fog and rails, nothing else.
There is no use in stumbling around here at night. We will come back tomorrow. Well, here we are again at Evesham Station. We have a full day ahead. Let us begin our investigation.
This is the place where we saw the train vanish last night.
The rails have not been touched. There's nothing unusual here. A discarded item, possibly thrown from the train. Railway sleepers, nothing unusual. There are no tracks or footprints on the ground. There are no signs to indicate that the train ran off the track, nor are there any other traces. There is nothing whatsoever. There are no clues. But then, a negative result is also a result.
Oh, I see what you're getting at. No clues, and you're smiling.
Yes, Watson, I do smile on occasion. This mystery appears very promising. This investigation won't be simple. We shall require a map of the region.
Perhaps the station master could lend us one.
Good morning. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson.
Yes, I remember you. I'm Station Master Everett. You were here last night. So, you are Mr. Holmes, the great detective. Will you be investigating what happened?
I shall indeed.
It is extraordinary that an entire train could disappear like that. And to think of all the poor people inside it, the passengers, the driver.
Could you please give us any details about the train?
Well, there was nothing so very special about it. At least not that I can recall. My memory's not what it used to be. However, if you need it, you can have the train composition report. It's inside my office.
I would be glad to have a detailed map of the local railway district.
But of course, please, take the one that's pinned inside the waiting hall.
See you later, my good man.
A new telegram.
I think we should meet this Mr. Robinson. This part is probably from a locomotive. An old locomotive bell. This place serves as a storage area for the station. According to the train composition report, there was a special wagon. What does that entail?
That's a highly secure car, ordered by a private party. It is generally to carry something of value. Those wagons have iron walls, you know, without any windows, and they're fitted with a complex key lock.
That is important information. Do you know what was inside this particular wagon?
Certainly not. No, that's private, and it's not my responsibility to allot the wagons to whoever.
See you later, my good man. This map will be useful. Was there anything exceptional about any of the passengers aboard the train?
What do you mean? Like officials? I wouldn't know. Oh, but now that you mention it, yes, there was something. There was a message from Bridlington station saying that the train had been delayed because of an issue with the passengers. What kind of problem that they didn't say?
That is interesting. You mentioned a problem at Bridlington station. I should like to visit this station. Could you mark it on the local map?
Of course. It's a suburban railway station. You might take a cab there.
See you later, my good man.
This is an absolute scandal. It's always the same with these rail companies. No respect for the customer.
Please calm down, sir. What is your concern?
Concern? What is my concern? I'll tell you what my concern is. Last night I were on the train as usual with my colleague, heading home. Then along came this ridiculous ticket inspector, who started arguing that our tickets were invalid. He made us get off the train, and he was extremely rude about it.
Were you aboard the train that vanished last night?
Yes, I heard that it disappeared. But I don't care because we would have stopped before then anyway. Our tickets were valid and no doubt about it. And then, to top it all, the ticket inspector pushed everyone else out too, except for a bunch of rich. Well, because their type don't need a ticket.
Can you recall anything more specific about this fortunate group?
Well, yes. They were all foreigners. Spanish-looking toffs with snake eyes.
Goodbye, sir. Good day to you, sir.
Good day. To whom am I speaking?
My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is...
Are you a representative of this damned railway company? Because I have a complaint.
We are not from the railway company. We are...
Well, in that case, Mr. Shamrock Flomes, please excuse me, but I'm not in the mood for idle chit-chat at the moment.
You must be Mr. Robinson, is that correct?
Yes?
I am leading the investigation of the disappearing train. It would help if you could answer my questions.
Ah, well, all right. I have nothing to hide.
I presume it was you who placed the order for the special wagon.
Yes. It was to transport my valuable prototype safely to London. My prototype is a revolutionary device. It is capable of producing electricity. I'm a businessman and an engineer. I had already found several potential customers for my invention, but I was very optimistic about the directors' board who were travelling on the train last night.
You mentioned a director's board. Which company do they own?
The Chilean Barcazas Company. I had made an appointment with them. Now they are lost, along with the train and my prototype.
What do you know about the Barcazas Company?
It's a large South American company. They showed a great deal of interest in my prototype, and they seemed wealthy enough to do business with.
This revolutionary machine of yours, was it very valuable?
For God's sake, sir, it is priceless. It could change the world we live in, and yet I was selling it for almost nothing. I am a humanitarian, you see. I do not know if I will ever be able to get over this disaster. I cannot believe that it disappeared with that damned train.
Mr. Robinson, could you please clarify? Were you travelling alongside your prototype?
Yes, I was. But I had to step off the train. And all because of this stupid station master.
I received a telegram declaring that an important person, a Mr. Bromsby, wished to see you in the waiting room. I merely informed you of this.
Mr. Bromsby is a wealthy gentleman. His interest in my invention was truly unexpected. So yes, of course, I agreed to see him. Unfortunately, he wasn't there. I thought perhaps he might have been delayed, so I chose to wait a while. But despite my requests, the train left the station without me. Absolutely unacceptable.
The timetable is strict. We cannot wait any longer. The regulations require the train to be on time.
You are an idiot. You will pay for it. I will sue you.
The ticket inspector forced all the passengers from the train except for the directors of the Barcazas Chilean Company.
Good day to you, gentlemen. How may I help you?
Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I am investigating the unfortunate disappearance of last night's train.
I see. I'm Station Master Bertram, but my supervisor has not informed me about this. I do not know if...
Do not worry. I have only a few questions. Station Master Everett from Evesham told us that you reported a problem with some passengers last night.
Indeed. This train is a regular line for those who work at Nottingham. But yesterday, everyone was asked to get off the train here at my station. I've no idea why, and it delayed the train. But the worst of it is that now I have to deal with two furious passengers who are complaining about the company's service. They stayed here the whole night, but people do not usually pay much attention to the regulations, you see. There are very strict and clear rules. Paragraph 234 of Article 2G-43 states that in the event of a complaint, you must...
Yes, thank you. I understand. Apart from the passengers disembarking, did you notice anything else that was unusual last night?
I did, and I mentioned it in my report to our higher management on the matter.
What was it?
Sorry, but I can't tell you. The station master's reports are confidential.
Confidential, you say? How long have you been working here?
I have worked here long enough to be quite capable of managing a railway station.
Let me speak frankly, Mr. Bertram. Your age and your lack of confidence in your position are quite apparent. You cannot deny that you have only recently completed your studies.
I was at the top of my class.
Listen here, young man. I am aware that you wish to protect yourself behind all these regulations, but I represent the law.
And you are obstructing the investigation of an important case. I would suggest that you cooperate with Mr. Holmes. Think of your career.
Ah, that is... Well, I'll tell you everything. First of all, I scolded the ticket inspector, for it was he who asked the passengers to leave the train. It was not his right to do so. He was very rude. And then, later on, I received a most peculiar telegram from my colleague at Chesterfield Station, the next stop along the line.
What did the telegram say?
Well, that was the peculiar thing. It was almost unreadable. It was full of errors and awfully vague. It was hard to understand if the train had correctly passed that station or not. You can read it for yourself.
We ought to visit Chesterfield Station. We need to confirm if the station master saw the train or not.
How could he fall asleep at work like this? Excuse me, sir. Wake up. Ah, his breath. He must have swallowed half a distillery.
And that explains the how.
By his sleeping off the alcohol, you mean? Wake up, please, sir.
What? The 18-hour 72 train has arrived?
Good day to you. We are investigating the disappearance of last night's train, and we should like to ask you a few questions. Were there any passengers who got off that particular train at your station last night?
No, nobody, it seems to me. Although I did not leave my office, so...
No doubt you were very busy.
You don't say. You can't ever get any peace around here. Now you have to send a telegram each time a train arrives and departs.
The station master Bertram from Bridlington showed me a strange telegram that he received from you last night. It concerned the train, but it was barely comprehensible.
What? He's a fastidious little twerp, that Bertram. I remember everything quite clearly. It was late, and I was tired, but I did my work. So what? There's no need to be so petty.
You were not tired, you were inebriated. Tell me the truth now, or I shall not hesitate to document your state in my report.
My friend means that you will end up by being sacked from your position.
All right. So I was drunk. I don't remember all of yesterday, to be truthful to you. Please don't go harsh on me.
Holmes, this man has consumed a considerable amount of alcohol. He's not entirely helpless yet, but...
It will not be long before he is. Obviously, his testimony cannot be trusted.
I had thought that all station masters knew the Morse code, but apparently not.
A fishing advertisement.
This bin is full of empty bottles.
Locked. There is no sense in asking the station master to open it. We shall have to pick the lock. Bags were recently dragged here. French wine, a remarkable vintage. These bottles are too expensive for a station master's wage. They were likely taken from the parcels.
Shameful.
These tools were used quite recently. They are still muddy. We should ask about them. Railway post bags. A handcar wheelbase. Interesting. It appears that elements of the same construction were scattered everywhere. Watson, please tell me, do you believe in magic?
Of course not, Holmes.
Then you are of the opinion that a train cannot simply disappear.
Well, we both know that that is obvious. Why are you asking such peculiar questions?
A little patience, Watson. You will understand my point quite soon. So, are you quite certain that you saw the train at Evesham Station?
Yes, of course. We saw it coming. The headlights, and heard the whistle.
But that is it. We didn't see the train itself.
But... Oh, Holmes, I'm a little confused.
You have quite a number of dirty tools lying around here.
Ah, yes. Well, thank you for reminding me. I should clean them. Although, it might be easier to put them outside. Seems it might start raining soon.
I meant, what were they used for?
Some workers come here and borrowed them from me. They wanted to lift the edge of the railway of one of the stations on the line, so that the water wouldn't come in too close.
Who were these workers?
Well, they didn't seem to be from the company, but they was fine lads. They invited me to share a drink. And whatever it was, it had a kick to it. They wasn't English. No, I don't believe so. But see, they knew just what a man needed to brighten up his dull evening.
I should use the appropriate object here. So, now here we have the fake train that we saw approaching Evesham Station last night.
Doesn't look much like a train to me.
Be patient, Watson, I haven't finished yet. Try using your imagination. Our train requires only a headlight and a steam whistle. We need to attach a headlight and a steam whistle. The long pole is now attached. It will allow us to connect the headlight. The headlight is attached. The steam whistle is now connected.
Holmes, what can we do to make the steam whistle work?
It is elementary, my dear Watson. We shall need a fire extinguisher. The fire extinguisher. Now let us see what we have here. The steam whistle is ready to be used. Watson, I do believe that we have created an exact replica of the train that vanished in front of us last night. The criminal mind can be most inventive. I am somewhat in awe.
So such a thing is possible. If someone went to all the trouble of creating this fake train, then it was surely with the intention of stealing the real one.
Ah, Watson, you should not jump to conclusions. In fact, this does not tell us very much at all, except that the train did not evaporate into thin air.
Although you half suspected it.
At any rate, we now need to find where the real train might be hidden. I suggest we use my archives to find a more detailed map of our surroundings.
Well, I hope that justifies our having to load your massive archive suitcase onto the cab. It made us extremely unpopular with our driver.
The insurance policy for Robinson's machine. A significant sum. According to this document, you have insurance for your prototype.
Oh, thank God. Where did you find it?
Near the telegraph station.
I must have lost it when I tried to send a message, which I was prevented from doing.
I apologise for that, but regulations state that public access to the telegraph is strictly prohibited.
Upon my word, you keep on digging that hole of yours. You have no idea who I am.
I see that you kept your grip sack with you. Why don't you leave it in the luggage room?
I've had other things to think about. I lost my prototype. And this idiot station master just stands here doing nothing to help.
Oh, but...
Well, that won't do at all. Station master, I believe that the regulations state that any passenger luggage should be taken to the luggage room.
I'll do it right away, sir. Sorry, sir.
This Robinson is quite a character. We should learn more about him. Railway post bags. This gripsack belongs to Mr. Robinson.
I think we should open it, Holmes. This is what they call force majeure. I'll keep watch.
Of course. Look, Watson, a bundle of contracts. Very suspicious. We should study them carefully. An exclusive sales contract. Mr. Robinson is the seller. Well, it is very clear that this Mr. Robinson received prepayments from various people for his machine. Now we have two maps. We must combine them properly. Here it is. There is a side branch to the railway. Its first switch is located between Bridlington and Chesterfield stations. There is one more station to be visited. It is located between Chesterfield and Evesham, and there should be a side railway to the nearby quarry. There is a small section of a railway at the end of Evesham station. The switch is rusted, but it still works. Mines. This is interesting. It would be quite possible for someone to redirect the train towards the mines.
Here are the mines, Holmes. They appear to be abandoned.
Distance between the tracks is about 4 feet 8 inches. There is a wooden beam lying on the rails. A lightly loaded vehicle came this way. A small vehicle with wooden beams went down this way.
This mine has completely collapsed, Holmes.
It is curious, but to be truthful, I am not entirely surprised.
It's difficult to follow you, Holmes.
Someone removed these screws, most probably to take down the rails. A few feet of the rails have been dismantled. This is an unusual kind of paper, stiff and dry. It was used for a specific purpose. Let us look inside. Sawdust. I am almost certain it is a... Watson, could you assist, please? Do you have your pistol? Good. Fire at this package.
Dynamite.
The Mexican company Caracal and the Chilean Barcazas both want to buy the mines. I need more information. Perhaps Mycroft could help.
A funny character. He looks anxious.
And he is not an Englishman. This scent is familiar to me, but in order to recognize it, I must combine my associations into one picture. A greenish-brown cigar with a strong aroma, a hint of peppermint. Ricardo.
You already know the name of this man? Holmes, you amaze me.
No, Watson, I refer to the cigar. It is a Ricardo Turrent, a Mexican cigar of an excellent quality. Quite an expensive one, too. This ashtray is full of ash and cigar stubs. Apparently, there was a conflict between the Mexicans and the Chileans. A greenish-brown cigar with a strong aroma, a hint of peppermint. These ashes and cigar stubs are similar to the one that we found on the floor. Some of the stubs were recently smoked. There are others that appear fairly old.
That means that the fellow spent several days here. Judging by his clothes, he's hardly a traveller or a tramp.
Well concluded, my dear fellow. A man who smoked the Ricardo brand of Mexican cigar spent several long days at Doncaster Station. This ashtray is full of ash and cigar stubs.
Newspaper articles on horse racing. Hurdle, steeplechase and flat racing. He is a true enthusiast, Holmes.
Betting slips for horse racing. The sums are quite impressive.
It can be an expensive vice. This man had probably used all his savings.
I asked Mycroft to find out some information on the WEA Coal Company. Here is his reply, and it is an interesting one.
Holmes, look. There's a flooded area over here.
I believe that the flooded area might be worth checking. Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. John Watson. We are investigating the case of the vanished train.
Is that so? Well, good day, gentlemen. I am Mr. Duff, the station master of this station. I'll be happy to help you in any way I can, but there's not much that I can tell you about last night.
It appears that you may be at risk of some flooding along the line here.
You mean that the whole bloody lake is at our feet?
Quite so. But it is strange, because according to my map, there should be a quarry here, and behind that, the lake.
How should I know? I only arrived here a few months ago.
And where did you work before that?
I was working in Nottingham, but I asked for a quieter place, so they transferred me here. Life is cheaper. I can't really complain.
Did any passengers leave or board the train last night?
No. I saw no one as usual. I reported the train's passage by telegraph, just the same as all the other nights.
I observe that you are a gambling man, Mr. Duff. You had hoped that your relocation to this small town might have helped ease your addiction, but it was not to be.
I beg your pardon? Addiction to what?
We found a number of horse racing tickets inside your office. Well, we all have our weaknesses. An expensive obsession, surely, for a station master.
It is none of your business. I occasionally attend the races with my colleagues. And anyway, that's my private life.
There was a gentleman of Mexican origin, I believe, in the waiting room. Did you notice him?
What? A Mexican? Here in the back of beyond? Are you quite sure about that?
Goodbye, sir. It is obvious that we cannot inspect the quarry. Instead, we can check the beach area around the flooded lake. Watson, it seems that both South American companies were involved in the purchase of the mine.
The man at Doncaster who flared our approach, he smokes Mexican cigars. Perhaps...
Yes, Watson. We should certainly speak with him. That is located near the quarry and Doncaster Station. It doesn't look like a very good place to rest. These traces were made by a carriage. Look, the vehicle pressed this stone into the ground. It would have been quite heavy. The distance between the tracks is about 6 feet 7 inches. The vehicle would have been heavy, as these tracks are quite deep. These traces are relatively fresh and were made by a large truck loaded with materials. This place was abandoned fairly recently. Please, sir, we would ask you not to leave. We have some questions.
Are you the police?
No, we are employed by the railway company. We are collecting witness statements about the train that disappeared last night.
Lo siento, I'm in a hurry.
Really? It seemed that you were waiting here for someone. Could you tell us if you were at the station last night?
No, I just arrived from South America.
A formidable journey, no doubt. Which country are you from?
De Chile.
Chile? But you are Mexican.
No, you are wrong. Why would you think I'm Mexican?
Because of your cigars.
Sí, cigarrillos. So what?
Those cigars are the Ricardo brand, from Mexico. It is quite impossible to find them anywhere but there.
Pero not your business.
I don't suppose that you are on vacation. What business brought you here?
I was to meet my fellow compañeros, who were due to arrive yesterday. They were on that damn train. I will stay here and hope that the authorities find them, or their bodies. It's now my responsibility to repatriate them.
Who authorized you to do that?
The company I work for.
Could you tell me the name of the company?
It's not your concern.
And what is your name?
Enough questions. Buenas tardes.
Not a very friendly man, and he is lying. He said that he just arrived, but we know that he has been here for several days.
An abandoned gypsy caravan. Observing the coastline and the moored boats, we are able to see that the lake's water level dropped. The lake has flooded the quarry. The dam was probably breached. A label with the name Las Zarpas. This railway branch should lead to the quarry. Let us take a look. The switch is rusted, but it still works. The rail is rusted and looks old, but the railway is still usable. The railway ends here. That is strange. Here it is. There was a building here not so long ago.
But I don't understand, Holmes. Why would anyone destroy the shed in such a manner?
It was disassembled in great haste. It is most odd. The distance between the tracks is about 6 feet 7 inches. The vehicle would have been heavy, as these tracks are quite deep. These traces are relatively fresh and were made by a large truck loaded with materials. The traces found at the disassembled shed near Evesham and at the lake were from the same vehicle. This road should lead to the town of Evesham. It appears that there was a small warehouse near your station and that it was disassembled. Why is that?
It was burgled overnight about 2 weeks ago. The police have already started their investigation, but I doubt that they'll find anything.
What was inside the warehouse?
Nothing of value. A few 100 feet of standby rails and some spare railway parts. But it wouldn't be easy to steal all of that. Why would anyone want to?
See you later, my good man. This postbag belongs to the station master. The station master appears to have found himself in some financial trouble.
Then the case is solved, Holmes. What do you intend to do?
Well, I shall require assistance for the arrests. There were accomplices.
Ah, but I know that look. You have your own ideas. What are they, Holmes?
On the one hand, we have Mycroft and his tedious political games. He will locate the guilty parties without any trouble. But it will be a long and drawn-out process, and possibly with some compromise that will be to Mycroft's benefit. Our other option is the local constabulary, and advice from our friend Lestrade. The problem we have there is that the authorities seem to be incapable of acting quietly. They rely on brute force. It could result in an international scandal. All the same, I think that I prefer the forces methods. It would be better to resolve the case quickly and efficiently, without any talk of politics.
Let us go home, then. I'd like to begin writing a draft of this story.
I did not say that we had finished here yet.
Well, all right. What did I miss?
Watson, we know that the Barkazas Company directors were drowned in the flooded quarry, along with the train and Robinson's prototype. But we still need to corner the guilty party.
But how do you intend to prove... Oh, no. Please don't tell me we have to dive into the lake.
You may rest assured that I have a far better idea. We have only to use our corrupt Doncaster station master as bait. He will unwittingly trap our Mexican friend.
Of course, you already had a plan. I shall follow you, Holmes.
Well, the case is solved, and we shall be heading home. May we have 2 tickets to London, please?
Right away. Wait a minute. You've solved the case?
In a manner of speaking. Can you believe that the rescue service miraculously saved one of the Chileans who were on board the train? The police have ordered his immediate escort to London on the next train.
He pulled through, then? He's alive?
Yes, by extreme good fortune. His condition is quite serious, and the method of transportation has its risk, but he will be held securely by the doctor and police officers. The gentleman carries some vital information on this case. I am sure of it.
Ah, really?
Your station will be famous, Mr. Duff. The journalists will be here before you know it. Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, you are under arrest.
Caramba! You traitor! You double-crossed me!
Holmes, I had to do it.
It is all right, Watson. He got what he deserved.
Oh my God! I thought I was a dead man.
You shouldn't be so glad about it. You'll be up before the judge.
Your testimony will be of great importance to the investigation. I would remind you that your cooperation will be the best way to ease your sentence.
After I returned from Afghanistan, I vowed never to take another human life.
Watson, you did in fact save a life. You should focus on that. Now come, there is still much to do.
Holmes, what happened?
I feel deathly.
And you look it. Let me examine you. Please don't tell me that you've returned to your old habits. The temperature appears to be normal. The pupil is dilated. I need to concentrate and count the heartbeats. A weak pulse, around 50 beats per minute. But you're dying, Holmes. Your pulse rate is dropping. We need to get you to the hospital immediately.
The antidote. Give it to me.
The antidote? You mean that you're poisoned?
Now. Please.
Here, drink it all. Don't tell me that you did this to yourself.
Hemlock and datura. I was compelled to.
Holmes, imagine if I'd not returned home when I did. What might have happened?
I knew that you would.
Mr. Holmes, Inspector Lestrade is here to see you.
Mr. Holmes is unable to see anyone at the moment. He is unwell.
A good day, Inspector.
Ah, Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to find you here. I need your help. This is a strange one. We have brought in 2 young bankers from the city, sons of lords, members of the chamber, and so on and so forth. They were found stranded in a rowing boat that was drifting on the Thames.
A romantic escapade with an unhappy ending, Lestrade.
What? Well, yes, they were both in the bath, but... what?
As I said.
And they were tied together.
You are lacking in imagination, Inspector.
Well, no, I'm not. Anyway, there was a banner flapping about in the boat with the RMS Oceanic printed on it and signed by the Merry Men.
The Oceanic? Isn't that the largest steamer ever built?
Yes. And these 2 young banker chaps are sons of the owners of the White Star Line, the company that built it. There are rumours of corruption.
I'm not interested in politics, Lestrade.
I'll keep it then. Here's another one that's a bit more complex and maybe to your liking. It's a murder, but we're unable to find any weapon. We haven't touched anything. It's at the Roman Baths in Strand Lane.
A murder, a vanishing weapon, the Roman Baths. That's for us. Watson, fetch your hat.
Beautiful place.
With a dreadful murder. The body of Sir Rodney Bentcliffe is still in the steam room. It has not been touched, per your usual instructions, Mr. Holmes. I shall be waiting for you here, but please hurry.
Are you able to identify the men who were with the victim in the steam room?
Yes. The manager of the bath, Sir Gregory Pitkin, a lad from the City Council, Garrow, and an archaeologist by the name of Blinkhorn. I think the plump one, Garrow, did it. He doesn't seem right in the head.
Well, we shall see. You found no murder weapon?
No, and that's why I called you. All 3 witnesses and the victim were locked in when the murder occurred, and they remained so until we got here. We even had to pick the lock to enter.
I see. Was there anyone else here, apart from those gentlemen in the steam room?
Yes, a Mr. Phillips. He was the one who called the police. He'll be able to give you more details.
Good day to you, Mr. Phillips. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my colleague, Dr. Watson. Would you be so kind as to answer our questions?
Certainly, sir.
Please tell us the chain of events from the start of your day. Everything that you can remember. The slightest detail may be of importance.
Very well, sir. I came in at 6:30 this morning, and I opened the baths. I made sure that the room was clean, and I prepared the towels. The brazier was still burning.
There was a fire burning all night?
Yes, Sir Gregory ordered me to light the brazier yesterday. It takes some time until the room is fully heated. The gentlemen had a meeting at 9 o'clock this morning. I wanted everything to be perfect. They'd been in the steam room for 20 minutes when I suddenly heard shouting. I ran to the door, but it was closed. I couldn't open it. So I ran out to the street to call for the police. One constable came up, and then there were others, and they picked the lock. Then Inspector Lestrade came along, and he told us that nothing should be touched.
Did you receive any other visitors this morning?
No one. Until these gentlemen arrived. Sir Gregory was the first. And then, while we were discussing work details, Sir Rodney and Mr. Blinkhorn arrived, and Mr. Garrow followed.
What happened after that?
I waited until they'd all entered the steam room, then I returned to the hall. The changing room door was open, so I should hear if they needed anything.
You would have heard if someone had entered or left the steam room?
Certainly, sir. These doors make a lot of noise.
Expensive clothes, belonging to one of the men from the steam room. Champagne, for a special occasion. An ice bucket, to keep the champagne chilled. Unopened, it was intended to be enjoyed after the steam session. These clothes belong to one of the suspects from the steam room.
Good Lord, Holmes.
Ah, death with a peculiarly Roman piquancy.
Like the one you almost had an hour ago.
Let us forget about that.
There was only one hit from the weapon. It pierced the right eye straight through to the brain. Death would have been instantaneous.
The wound should not have bled so profusely. This pool is rather large. Some dirt or earth. I'll take a sample. Look, Watson. He was wearing a ring. He very likely removed it before the steam session.
Well, death is very recent. Between 30 minutes to 1 hour ago.
I think we have found all that we can here, taking into consideration the abysmal lighting. Constable, we have finished with the body.
We don't have many leads here.
What concerns me is that we still have to find the murder weapon.
Mr. Holmes?
Please have the body removed without disturbing anything else in the room.
All right, Mr. Holmes.
I was wondering, Holmes, it's fairly reckless to carry out a murder inside a closed chamber. Why do you suppose they did it?
There are a great many possibilities. The murderer was in a hurry, or he is an artist, or a ghost, or he wanted to ensure that I'd be brought in on the case.
Probably the latter. You are ridiculous, do you know that?
One lens is cracked, probably due to the temperature of the brazier. These lenses are for myopia. The wearer is short-sighted. The brazier is still burning. The heat here is extreme. I should check this blood sample at Baker Street. G. Newell and Sons, steam specialists, Seattle, WA.
Mr. Holmes, I should like to take the suspects to the yard. You can interrogate them there. Any objections?
None, Lestrade. Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and I am assisting the police with their investigation of the murder of Sir Rodney Bentcliffe. Would you mind if I asked you a few questions?
Not at all, Mr. Holmes. My name is Percival Blinkhorn.
What is your occupation?
I'm an archaeologist, specializing in the Roman period. I'm working on several excavation sites at present, including the baths at Strand Lane.
Can you tell me more about the baths?
Well, we're hoping to retrieve a great many interesting artifacts from the site, and to list any items of value before their eventual restoration and exhibition.
And has it been successful?
It has, thanks to Sir Rodney.
What was your relationship with Sir Rodney?
Well, I couldn't say that he was a kind man, no. But he was talented. I felt a great admiration for him, I must say.
Was it your first collaboration?
I had met Sir Rodney briefly once in Egypt, and I'd shared my researches with him. Surprisingly, my work did convince him to come here. He arrived only a couple of months ago.
Surprisingly?
Well, Sir Rodney was a cold man, and so very secretive too. But I learned so much from him. I can't believe that he's dead.
Can you tell me what you saw today?
Well, we entered the steam room and we all went to sit down. The steam was particularly dense, and I didn't see anything much further after that. I just heard Mr. Garrow shouting, but we all ran for the door and bumped into each other. I was very alarmed by this point.
What did you do?
Well, the door was stuck, and with all the steam, it was quite frightening. I was barely able to see my own feet. Garrow was covered in blood.
Do you believe that Garrow killed Sir Rodney?
Oh, no. Garrow couldn't harm a fly.
Can you recall any recent event that would occur to you now as being a little strange?
Well, yesterday we had a small argument.
Is that all?
No. Sir Rodney informed me that he was to attend the London Archaeological Congress with me. Then he advised me of quite the opposite. And rather aggressively, too.
Did you place the bottle of champagne in the changing room?
No, I did not.
Good day to you, Sir Gregory. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the murder that took place this morning. Would you mind answering a few questions?
Tell me, Mr. Holmes, will I need to stay here for very much longer?
You are the manager of the baths, is that correct?
Yes. I'm passionate about archaeology. I wanted to restore the ruins. My ambition is to open the baths to the public. Living archaeology can be a profitable business, although now I'm not so sure.
I see. When do you wish to begin using the baths?
When the archaeological researches are over, I will be free to complete the restoration. It is the usual process.
What was your relationship with Sir Rodney Bentcliffe?
We were not particularly close. He had an unpleasant temperament. Suspicious, authoritarian, unkind. People possessed by genius may be forgiven for their nature, but not by me.
Was he obstructive?
Not at all. Everything he did led us to greater success. He helped us increase the potential of the building.
Please tell me what happened this morning.
The test that we performed this morning was a success. The steam was working well. Then, of course, that awful murder.
What did you see?
The steam was too thick to see anything. But ask Garrow. He saw the body first.
Had Sir Rodney exhibited any recent strange behavior?
Look, I'm not a suspicious fellow, but I think that he had professional interests elsewhere that he did not wish us to know about.
Why should you think that? Where?
I have no idea. But after all, it was not my business.
Did you bring a bottle of champagne to the baths?
Absolutely not. Sir Rodney did, I think.
A good day to you. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the murder of Sir Rodney Bentcliffe. Would you mind if I asked you a few questions?
I am Tristram Garrow.
What is your occupation?
I am a councillor at the district chamber.
What were you doing at the baths?
Well, I follow the researches. I am interested in archaeology.
You follow them?
Yes. So many things happened and we need to know. Or perhaps it's better hidden.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Garrow.
I meant nothing by that. I apologise.
What was it like to work with Sir Rodney?
It was like working with a genius. He was a hard man, but then you know this world is hard. There are always people who want to steal from you. And he trusted me, but
Are you feeling unwell?
I'm sorry. It is I remember. I feel so sorry.
Do you need anything?
I feel bad. I hear... No, nothing. I'm better now.
Please try to recall what you saw today.
The room was so hot, I had to remove my glasses. I was not feeling so very well in there.
But you found the body.
I saw the knife, you know, flying through the air. I saw the blood. I tried to escape. I don't remember.
Saw the knife? What did it look like?
Everything was as if in a nightmare. It all happened so fast. The knife was shining like gold.
Had Sir Rodney exhibited any recent strange behaviour?
Well, he had been rather secretive these past few days. Last Thursday, for example, I saw him leave. When he returned, it was very late. He showed me some wet coins, Roman coins, and he started to laugh.
Did you place the bottle of champagne in the changing room?
What? No.
Garrow appears to be rather mentally disturbed. Either that or he is a good actor. A hand-drawn map, an old and rather dirty coin. This ring was most likely the one that Sir Rodney wore. He removed it before entering the steam room. I see the join. This ring was repaired, and quite badly too, with silver. An Egyptian symbol. It is a very old jewel.
Why on earth would they wear such a ring?
A very pertinent question. Rodney Bentcliffe's notebook. It may contain something of interest. The last pages were torn out. We must find a way of retrieving Sir Rodney's last lines. Watson, please prevent anyone from entering the room. But first, fetch me a pencil. To begin with, a few strokes of the pencil will be enough. I don't want to damage the traces. And then to gently smudge the leftover pencil.
Mr. Holmes, the coroner... But what are you doing? Tampering with the evidence?
I prefer to make them talk. Today, I almost found it. This date will go down in history. Sir Rodney was about to make an outstanding discovery.
Wonderful.
I could retrieve only the final words. The rest of it is lost. Perhaps the autopsy will assist us in that matter.
I'm not sure that I can allow you to inspect the body now.
I am sure that you must, Constable.
Well...
When Garrow found Sir Rodney dead, he wiped the blood upon himself. A phial with herbs. Do you know what it is, my dear fellow?
It's the St. John's wort flower, Holmes. It's commonly used as a drug against melancholia. However, an overdosage might lead to a rash or even hallucinations.
A fountain pen with solid gold trim. An embroidered silk handkerchief. Sir Gregory Pitkin's visiting card. How was the work progressing before Sir Rodney's arrival?
Rather slowly, I would say.
Sir Gregory, could you please explain this letter? You expressed the wish to call off the research work at the baths.
It was all about Blinkhorn. He was merrily digging away and taking very little care about it, ruining everything and finding nothing of any value.
But the arrival of Sir Rodney changed your mind?
Sir Rodney's work was extremely promising, and it was good for the bath's publicity. So yes, I changed my mind.
Are you aware that Mr. Garrow is under a form of medication?
Garrow? No, but I never liked that parasite.
Do you believe him to be capable of murder?
Well, he did have blood on him. Does that make him a murderer?
His ring! Oh, it should be destroyed.
Why do you say that?
It is a cursed ring, digging dark secrets.
Really?
It is after me now. I know it. I shouldn't have worked on it in the workshop. It's too late now. This is the coin that he showed me. It is from the 3rd century.
It must be very rare.
No, I don't know. Thank you. Thank you. This will help me to calm down.
Do be careful with the dosage.
I will.
I mean it. Do you recognize this ring?
Certainly. It's the famous Aswan ring. Sir Rodney brought it back from his last campaign in Egypt.
And he kept it for himself?
Sir Rodney has had his own particular ideas of archaeology.
What can you tell me about Garrow?
Well, he always looks so sad. And he has been acting strangely lately. He complains about voices and visions. I will keep an eye on him because I'm worried.
How well were your researchers progressing before Sir Rodney's arrival?
Rather well.
This letter reveals that Sir Gregory was prepared to put a stop to your work.
Yes. But since Sir Rodney's arrival, he had calmed down. He allowed us to work. I'm not sure what they agreed on.
What will happen now that Sir Rodney is dead?
Well, I haven't thought about that. But if it's needed, I will fight to defend Sir Rodney's expectations.
According to the coroner, there were no cardiac problems nor lung congestion, but there were traces of fungus, possibly contracted from the Egyptian tombs. The coroner observed no stomach nor liver disease, if we're to accept that Sir Rodney was an occasional drinker and 63 years of age. An unusual wound, inflicted by a curved knife, which resulted in instant death, as the coroner's report says.
Some light bruising, caused by a rope. The bruising is in lines. They were caused by a rope around the waist. Sir Rodney was descending somewhere. Selenite. White clay particles. Pyrite, otherwise known as fool's gold. Interesting. According to the color and its composition, I deduce that this sample is white clay. Now, I need to find which area near London this sample belongs to. The sample of dirt belongs to the White London clay region, located near the city of St. Albans. Let us analyze this blood sample. This blood has not coagulated well. It seems very liquid. That is strange. Let us see what is inside it. Hydrogen peroxide will bring any foreign matter to the surface. I must take a pipette and place several drops of hydrogen peroxide. Water. This blood is heavily diluted with water. How many people have keys to the steam room?
We have just the one key for now, which Sir Gregory gave to me.
So, this morning you opened the steam room, and then?
I put the key inside my desk, but when they called, I couldn't find it. It had disappeared. I don't know where it is.
Did you leave the baths at any time, or receive any visitors?
No, sir. I did not.
You are not telling the truth, Mr. Phillips. You left your work this morning, and you went to the post office, where you dispatched a telegram at around 7:30.
But how could you... No,
The telegram was for someone in Manchester.
Mr. Holmes, it's I'll tell you everything. I left the baths at 7:20. My sister wrote to me yesterday, and she needed a reply, or our mother is unwell. I was away for 20 minutes, and I closed the baths on my way out.
Did you receive a reply from your sister?
No, she wasn't meant to. I just told her to pawn my old school uniform so that she could pay for the medication.
Did you check to see if the key was still in your desk when you returned?
No, I didn't. Please, Mr. Holmes, don't tell the police about this. Sir Gregory would give me the sack. I need this job.
I see. There is a bottle of champagne on ice in the changing room. Do you have any idea who left it there?
There is? Are you quite certain? I didn't pay any attention. Do you believe that it's important?
This area serves as Sir Rodney Bentcliffe's workshop, tools used by archaeologists in their research. I will need these tongs. A shape has been cut in the plate. What should be done with it? Archaeological findings. Old clay pots with numbers inscribed upon them. Archaeological findings. Old clay pot. Glass plate negatives. A remarkable method for recording ancient civilizations. It is a glass plate negative of an Egyptian statue. A glass plate negative is missing. I should analyze this melted metal. This is a piece of metal taken from a brazier. It appears to be silver, but I need to be sure. If it is silver, it will be possible to melt it, since silver's melting point is at around 900 degrees Celsius. Let us compare this sample with a silver penny by testing it with acid. If it changes color to match the result of a reaction with a silver coin, then it is silver. The reaction is the same red stain. It is silver, Britannia silver quality.
My God, are you all right? I wonder how this could have happened.
Yes, it is somewhat treacherous. Fortunately, I am unscathed. To where does this corridor lead?
To the frigidarium, the coal room.
Barely unscathed and by a very small margin. And treacherous is an understatement. Those stones weigh tons. We won't move them.
It does not matter. If our investigation requires it, we shall ask for them to be removed. Some melted silver was found inside the steam room brazier. Do you know where it came from?
Silver? No.
We discovered some melted silver in the brazier. Did you put it there?
No. Silver, you say? No, I don't know how it got there.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. We discovered some melted silver in the brazier. Did you put it there?
It didn't help. The power is too strong.
By the eye he was punished, for he saw that he was not worthy.
Watson, pack your bag. We are visiting a location in St. Albans marked on Sir Rodney's map. This archaeological site has been abandoned. Why did Bentcliffe come here? This is the map of the site. We are at the heart of an old Roman city. The door has been left open. Someone did not care or was in haste. Some melted silver was found inside the steam room brazier. Do you know where it came from?
Silver? No.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. We discovered some melted silver in the brazier. Did you put it there?
No. Silver, you say? No, I don't know how it got there.
We discovered some melted silver in the brazier. Did you put it there?
It didn't help. The power is too strong.
By the eye he was punished, for he saw that he was not worthy. Dreadful.
Watson, pack your bag. We are visiting a location in St. Albans marked on Sir Rodney's map. This archaeological site has been abandoned. Why did Bentcliffe come here? This is the map of the site. We are at the heart of an old Roman city. The door has been left open. Someone did not care or was in haste. The Cyclops, a one-eyed creature helping Vulcan at the forge. Vulcan, the god of fire and metalworking. Excavating tools, a bucket, shovel, and brush. It is a statue of Minerva. Neptune, the god of the sea. This wall was covered with mud recently. What could be hidden here? Frigidarium. It is located at the Roman Baths in London. Someone took the time to hide the fresco, but what for? I need to visit this place.
Mr. Holmes, we've cleared the corridor to the Frigidarium. You can visit it now.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Perhaps I could find some clues by activating the flagstones. This is the map of the site. We are at the heart of an old Roman city. The gastrofetes were used with ropes and hooks for sieges. This is a reproduction of an ancient Greek crossbow. This is a reproduction, a symbol. Now I have all the clues to help me find where these symbols are leading. All I need is imagination. The signs are pointing to this bust.
What is this place?
I am unsure, Watson, but everything points to the fact that it was the last place visited by Sir Rodney Bentcliffe. We are approaching the end of this mystery. A broken glass plate. What is it doing here? I should examine it at Baker Street. How very peculiar. An ice maker.
Why would Sir Rodney have brought such a device here?
Mithras, the god, clothed in Anatolian costume and wearing a Phrygian cap, killing the bull. This fresco resembles either a ladder or a hierarchy. The fire casts a shadow upon the floor.
How dreadful. Judging by the broken orbit, this poor fellow met a death similar to Sir Rodney's.
This shoe is not from the Roman era. It is medieval at best. This man was a tomb raider who met with an unfortunate end.
By the eye he was punished, for he saw that he was not worthy. Dreadful.
Mummified bodies. We are in some type of catacomb. It resembles a bull. It is very similar to the face of Mithras. The pillar collapsed a long time ago. This shadow seems to represent a bridge. That is the symbol of Neptune, the god of the sea. The shadows show us the way to go. We will find Mithras after Neptune, the bull, and the bridge. Mummified body. We cannot go any further. A shovel, not from the Roman era. There are 12 pieces here. Let's try to gather them. I will count this piece as a starting point. It is a mold, and it is ready for casting. The mold is prepared for casting. We just need to fill it with certain material. Sir Rodney has made a reconstruction of the mythical golden knife. He seemed unafraid of maledictions, and yet... Half a glass of water should be enough to create a plaster solution. Now let us see what we have here.
This knife is very similar to that described by the coroner as the weapon that killed Sir Rodney.
You should not leap to any hasty conclusions, Watson. Done. Watson, could you please use this negative and your photographic equipment to process the photograph? Thank you, Watson. Now I must use reagents to develop the photograph. Another archaeologist, most probably. Sir Rodney. Ice. Salt. The pyramids of Giza in Egypt. Ice cream. Ice cream in the desert. We are indebted to the Romans who developed the technique.
So that's it. Salt and crushed ice may help to create ice cream.
If I wish to shape the ice knife, then I need to pour water inside the mold. Ice, salt, and then the mixing. It should be elementary. We need to reach -20 degrees Celsius to fully freeze the water inside the mold. Before beginning, I must remember that I have enough ice and salt for no more than 4 attempts. I have only to use my ice pick. A block of ice. I have only to use my ice pick. I think that ice should be added first. Excellent. Now we must check to ensure that it is adequately frozen. An ice weapon for a cold-blooded murder. An ice knife. A surprising and yet a very brilliant idea.
It's the perfect weapon. It enables one to kill a man and then it melts. The only trace it leaves is a small puddle on the ground.
Let us try to create an object from silver by using the mold. Let us put the silver piece inside the saucepan. It will take a minute to melt the silver with my gas burner. Done. Now I can proceed further. The mold is hot. I should wait for it to cool down. Done. Now I can proceed further. A homemade silver knife. Excellent. We have created a knife with the silver that we found. It could have been used to kill Sir Rodney.
It was extremely clever to create a weapon that could dissolve at the scene of the crime.
Perhaps you could explain the cult of Mithras to me.
No, there is nothing to say. We are not the worthy ones.
But Sir Rodney believed that he was?
He was wrong. I have visions. The golden knife, the mummy. Oh, it's all my fault.
Calm down, Mr. Garrow. What can you tell me about Mithras?
Oh, so much. It was the core of our work. Why do you ask?
Were you seeking the golden knife?
I see you are an amateur. Yes, the golden knife was our grail. It is said that it bears the only text explaining the ritual of the cult of Mithras.
I understand. I read something about immortality.
A myth. The knife would provide immortality only to the worthy one, and yet it is cursed, and it would kill you if you are not initiated.
Did you expect to find the golden knife at the baths?
Well, Sir Rodney thought that it might be there. Did you observe the knife representations there? They are so extraordinary, and we had hoped that... It is a tragedy that he has passed away, taking all of his secrets with him. As soon as I've been released, I will continue Sir Rodney's researches in his memory.
The paintings in the baths are focused on Mithras, I understand.
Yes, they are what make this place remarkable.
And that is why Sir Rodney came here?
He believed that the golden knife, which is an ancient ritual item, was hidden somewhere around the baths. I admit that it would be wonderful if it were true.
And you are not concerned by the reputation of this artifact?
You mean the curse? Before someone is dead, it is a blessing. After they are dead, well, then it becomes a curse.
This railway is used to remove rubble from the site. We should use these metal rings to help us reach the bridge pillar. There might be something behind these leaves. I have to find a way of getting there. I should use the appropriate object here. The gastrofettes were used with ropes and hooks for sieges. Those rings on the bridge are perfect targets. This one is ready. The bridge is ready. Now I must cross it. I have found something.
Are we inside the hidden temple of Mithras, Holmes?
I am not sure. We had better be careful. I saw this symbol in the tunnels underneath the Frigidarium.
Which way should we go, Holmes?
There ought to be some clues here. Let's take a look around. I saw this symbol in the tunnels underneath the Frigidarium.
Look, it's the golden knife. But how to get it? Are we inside? This lamp is not old. The oil is still fresh. Perhaps Sir Rodney passed by here.
No, I do not think so. Remember, he went no further than the catacombs underneath the Frigidarium. The murderer left this lamp. Watson, I need your help. The golden knife of Mithras. A long-lost relic has resurfaced. Watson, it is time to conclude this case. Excellent. Now, we should find another way of getting out of here. Mr. Garrow, the game is up. I see straight through you.
You see straight... What?
You have a decided talent in mind manipulation. We all believed your comedy. The medication almost tricked me, I'll admit, but all of it was fake. The hallucinations, the hysteria. Mr. Garrow, you are a dangerous psychopath and a clever murderer. The method by which you disposed of the crime weapon...
Oh my God! I killed him!
It is no use to deny it. I despise cowardice in any form.
What will you do with me?
You will be sent to a medical institute, where you will receive the best treatment to facilitate your full rehabilitation.
What the good Dr. Watson is trying to say is, life seclusion in a lunatic asylum awaits you.
I would rather be dead.
That is your choice.